It's recording. The big food energy. I feel like I am the market because I I really look at things and I'm like, why doesn't this exist? I want to eat great Malaysian food, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've understood the question properly, but I'll say something now and then you'll see if this is making sense.
Most people leave college wanting nothing to do with it. But Vinesh Johny did the exact opposite. He teamed up with his professor and started a pastry school. That pretty much sums up what I've always found so compelling about Vinesh. He doesn't just follow the path, he builds new ones. Whether it's training chefs at Lavonne, bringing Malaysian kopi culture to Bangalore, or creating ice creams inspired by nostalgia and late-night cravings, there's a rare intentionality behind everything he touches. And as a journalist who's watched his journey over the years, it feels like he's not just opening cafes, but building an entire ecosystem of hospitality. In this episode, we dive into Vinesh's journey through education, entrepreneurship, and of course, desserts. We're exploring how he's building space for innovation, carving out a niche, and shaping the future of hospitality in Bangalore. This episode is about breaking molds and finding flavor in unlikely places. So what better pairing than chili cheese bhujia by Bombay Sweet Shop? Fiery, cheesy, and impossible to put down. Hi Vinesh, welcome to Big Food Energy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing.
No, of course, Vinesh, I've been a big fan of your work, not just your desserts, but really like your entrepreneurial spirit. And I feel it really takes like a lot of ambition and drive and a certain amount of craziness to go to your college professor and tell him you want to start a pastry school. But not just that, I've sort of watched your journey from the sidelines as a journalist. And I've always been very inspired by that spirit of yours that wants to sort of always push for something new and something creative. And you have this way of looking at things that is very different. And that's really exciting to see. And that's very exciting to write about as a journalist. And it seems like everything you do with a lot of thought and intention. And that really shows. So yeah, it's just been a pleasure to sort of watch you grow.
That's very kind of you to say all of that, but it's been 14 years, and looking back, sometimes even I can't really figure out how so much has happened. And before you know it, that so much time has passed already. But yeah, I think we're just getting started.
Absolutely. You've basically trained students to not just work in your own places, but also start their own things. Was that sort of the intention from day one to sort of build this ecosystem of hospitality, or is that just how it kind of organically grew?
When we first wanted to start Lavonne Academy, I was in college 2006 to 2010, and I wanted to learn more about pastry. But then what happened was there were no pastry schools in India that were offering high quality pastry education. And the only option was to either go to France or Australia, and the fees was quite ridiculous. And I couldn't go, honestly. I don't think I had the monies or the means to do it. So that's when the sort of idea sort of sparked. And then I'd spoken to my college professor, Evan, who's a partner at Lavonne now, and told him, I said, this is me, but I'm sure there's going to be so many other students who still want to learn high quality pastry, and he's a great teacher. And so we wanted to try and build our own pastry school. Of course, I was still in college, and it didn't make any sense for me to start a school right out of school. So went and worked with Starwood Group of Hotels for a while. I was promoted as the junior sous chef after finishing the management training program. And but even then, I knew that we were going to come back and start the school. So just gain some experience, some sort of confidence around the kitchen. And in 2012, we founded Lavonne.
Amazing.
But the goal was to be able to try and bring world-class education to India. And we were very quickly able to do that because right off the bat, we had Junie, who's my wife, who came in and started doing all the cake decoration courses. So we had an international chef from the first day doing what she does best. And I think she's one of the best cake artists in the country. We kept inviting a lot of chefs from across the world. Every year, we bring about 4 chefs to come and teach at Lavonne. That way, it's not just the students who are learning, but it's also the team that's learning. And instead of sending one person to go and learn abroad, we were able to train so many people at the same time.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because I've noticed that your curriculum is not just technique, right? It's a lot about like actually inventory management and running a business. So, can you talk a little bit about your approach to building a curriculum? Like, how did you sort of develop it?
I think the way Lavonne has sort of come to life was one, of course, it's a very education forward brand. We want to be part of learning, teaching, constantly learning again, and then putting that back out for not just the students, it's also for ourselves and also the customers, which is why we started Lavonne Cafe. We felt like there were so many students who were coming out from great colleges from outside of India. And when they did come back to India, they felt like the market was not ready to be able to put out the stuff they'd learned in the other colleges. But like really, you went so far away and spent so much money not to come back and start another like brownie store because everybody wanted only brownie. So we said, let's set up a cafe and put out what we are anyway teaching, which is why the desserts at Lavonne look a certain way. It's presented a certain way. There's a certain amount of technique and not just like very simple basic desserts that everybody would like to eat and indulge in. So that was our attempt to sort of like educate the market as well. And it's been 14 years, and I'm now seeing like our students all across the country doing some really fun stuff, taking the game to a whole new level. So it's incredible to see that journey.
Yeah. No, that's exciting because, yeah, like you said, in the past, I think 10, 12 years, pastry and bakeries have really exploded. And there's everything from not just French patisserie to like all kinds of like Viennoiseries and everything. And it
Correct.
even sort of expands into like Indian bakery and Indian hospitality and all of that.
True.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your other ventures at Lavonne. There's Kopitiam Lah, and of course, there is Lick that has taken the country by storm. Kopi is your Malaysian coffee shop and restaurant. While India is sort of familiar with Thai, Chinese, and Japanese cuisine, they're not so familiar with Malaysian cuisine. Can you talk to me a little bit about that decision? Like, did you ever feel like, will this even work in Bangalore?
You know, I met Junie in the year 2010, and my first trip outside of India was to Malaysia. Like that was my first country that I visited to do a little cake decoration course and learn how to make sugar sculptures.
And then you fell in love.
And then I fell in love with the food. I'm like, this is unbelievable food, and it's also not very expensive. Like you would go to a random street and get some food off a hawker stall, and it'd be like so delicious. The baking culture was different. The Chinese bakeries are very different. The coffee culture is so different because of the type of coffee they drink. The kaya toast was so intriguing. So I was like, man, this needs to be in Bangalore. And then when you look at the cuisine, you're like, this cuisine works for India no matter how you look at it, right? Like, because it is, it's a mix of Chinese, Malay, and Indian culture coming together and making a really delicious meal. It's not complicated. It's not, it's just fun, you know? Also, what I realized at that point in time is that now that we had so many Lavonne cafes and the coffee culture in India has sort of also exploded, which means there's just so many coffee shops that are that's constantly opening in India. And because we had already done like 5 Lavonne cafes, we wanted to try and bring in a completely new coffee culture to India, which is why we said, let's bring Kopi and see how India would like it. Because, of course, there is South Indian filter coffee. That is one category. There's, of course, the Italian coffee. And this is the third offering for coffee. And what really started off as, bringing a coffee shop to India slowly became a full-fledged restaurant. What was supposed to have been like a small 1,000 square feet restaurant became a 4,000 square feet restaurant. And the team that was coming together to make this was probably the Avengers in the entire like Malaysian, gastronomy scene. We had Darren
Amazing.
from Devakan, we had David from the Oberoi, of course, Junie, the entire team at Lavonne. Manik was designing, George from Stapati was the architect. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, we have to go all out and do it the way we have to do it. So we're really happy with the way the project has turned out, and it's been
Yeah.
10 months. It's been amazing. I can see so many people coming back. It's sort of set the mood for so many people to come and just chill, eat food and feel happy. Like those are the kind of things, right? Like this makes a restaurant. Of course, we've got a lot of accolades as well, but just to see the energy in the restaurant sort of like makes my day. Everybody was into it. I mean, David was on board quite, early on. We had a good 1 year to just practice the food that we were going to put onto the menu. The kitchen was ready even before the dining area was ready. The dining area looked like nothing had happened.
Wow.
Construction. And the kitchen was like fully set, and we had sealed, and we're constantly cooking. And then the team from Malaysia was with us cooking the entire like 5 months almost. So I could see that it was coming together really well. And, I'm so glad that we have David on the team who's really like, holding that restaurant at its highest quality.
Okay, so talk to me about Lick, the ice cream shop that India cannot stop talking about. It's everywhere. People are very excited. There are long lines around the block. I was there a few weeks ago, and it literally felt like a block party. Like there was, like this long line, like the velvet rope. There was R&B music. So tell me about this. I know that it sort of started with the late night scoops pop-up idea. But when did that sort of start taking on its own shape?
Of course, the thing is with Lavonne, in the dessert category, we sort of feel like we know a lot. The chefs are always researching something different. So I would say, like, even if the market is not ready, we have like a lot of knowledge that probably is going to be the future of what the market would want. So if you say vegan desserts, we have the entire array of desserts and techniques that do we want to put it in now or should we put it in later? So ice cream is one thing that we used to teach at Lavonne, and we kept doing a lot of like fun experimentation with the ice cream class, which is our frozen dessert class. And one day we had just finished COVID, and we were thinking what to do and try and bring back the energy into Lavonne. And Pratna was like, let's do an ice cream pop-up, like that was the conversation. It was very random. I said, yeah, let's do it. And then, of course, when we say that we'll do a pop-up, then, we'll have to bring the Avengers back. So had Manik back, had everybody back, and we sort of like came up with the pop-up. We want to call it Late Night Scoops. It was an ice cream party. We changed the entire, cafe to this 8 different stalls that were doing different Sundays, upbeat music, changed the entire lighting, and the mood of the cafe completely changed. And we did the first one. We weren't expecting so many people show up, but the first one had about 450 people. And then we did 4 more late night scopes, which used to happen once in 6 months, and each of them had over 1,200 people show up.
That's
and I'm
insane.
like, what is going on?
There is something here.
There is something here,
Yeah.
And when we then decided that we're going to open Lick, the part of the reason was that it's such a fun category, but most shop fronts didn't have that sort of experience for the product that was so much fun, So we wanted to do high quality ice cream sundaes, gelatos, everything in the frozen realm. We're not going to say that we are only ice cream or only gelatos, wherever the product fits best. But the experience of coming there needs to be exciting. You want to have a good time, listen to great music, eat something fun, eat something delicious. It could be indulgent, it could be tasty, it could be a dog. Bring whoever you want, you'll find an ice cream. You'll find yourself having a good time. That's what Lick is all about.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really felt kind of wild. And I know you've been known to do a few wild experiences and experiments in the past. I remember for World Chocolate Day in 2021, you created a flute
Correct.
made entirely of chocolate. And I remember seeing that. That was, 2021. So it was COVID. I remember seeing that and I was completely mind blown because it was such a good example of like doing something with intention and purpose and having people respond to it.
Yeah.
It went viral. It was everywhere.
Correct.
Has that intention sort of always come naturally to you? I'm curious about like what does your creative process look like?
I mean, sometimes, like the team also asks me to stop, like no more, take a break, stop thinking, because we still have 5 more things that we thought about a few weeks ago that needs to get done. But like I said, I think a lot of the ideas get better because I discuss it with my people. But like the chocolate flute was just a random, experiment that I was watching a video on YouTube and I saw somebody make a flute out of, I think, some PVC pipe.
Wow.
And then I was like, you know what? I want to try this with chocolate. and and then, of course, like one of my very good friends played the flute. So then I called him over and I said, man, I have this crazy idea. Would you come and like help me out? And during COVID, everybody had time. All shows were canceled. So we came and we made it. And the first flute was in tune.
Wow.
I was like, this is insane. I was shocked.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was insane. And how long did it take to like come up with the flute? Did it take a while? Like to...
It was like 5 minutes.
Seriously? Like to get...
It's
to temper the chocolate and make sure.
I mean, tempering chocolate, we have a machine, the chocolate machine is tempered. We anyway make chocolate pipes for different applications. We made a pipe. We had to punch a bunch of holes of a different size. Of course, there's a little bit of like understanding, and we just want to test if this is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Will this air make music that he's going to blow? Then when it did, and then when we had to do a bunch of trials, that was a little bit challenging because, of course, the body temperature and when you blow air into chocolate, they produce a lot of heat, and then so all of that was happening. So we broke a lot of flutes, but we were able to manage to, pull off a bunch of songs before.
Yeah.
Fully
No,
melted.
I love even the choice of song. I think it was Urvashi.
Yeah.
That was so great. Okay, so but back to your creative process. Is there does it start with like a random idea that sort of blooms in your head over time, or do you actively seek inspiration for things that you want to check out or sort of build? Tell me about that.
I think like 5 years ago, a lot of the ideas were around desserts. So like my mind was always constantly thinking about how to create something in the kitchen. Like I remember we did a series of chocolate called the Mood Pills. And that again went like super viral. Everybody wanted it from all across the world. I had calls from Romania who wanted to produce it. I saw like imitations of it like done across every hotel chains and this and that, and like different pills were created and all of that. But it was a very simple idea. I mean, I saw a mold that looked like a pill, and I said, you know what, we should do some pills. And then again, it started off as either the red pill, blue pill from the Matrix.
Yeah.
And then somehow it got changed to chill pill, and from chill pill we came up with the entire range. Of course, Manik is on branding for everything that I do, so and he actually makes a lot of our things look super cool.
Nice.
And and then we had to discontinue it because we ran into some trouble with misbranding on that. Apparently you can't call chocolate pills,
Really?
so we stopped it.
Damn. Okay. You were talking earlier about entrepreneurship. Most people sort of build one golden goose and then spend their time expanding that. But you've consciously built very different businesses, especially in the past recent years. It seems like you're thinking up concepts that have longevity and have sort of roots in culture. Is that the way you think hospitality is changing, or is that just like your own personal lens of how you're looking at hospitality?
I think for the entire team at Lavonne and the DNA of Lavonne has been working with concepts that are simple and try and make that better. There have been pastry schools across from before. How can we make a really great pastry school in India? And constantly keep evolving as a pastry school. I think like if you look at us as an academy, we're the only school that a student can come in and actually learn from the experiences that we have as also entrepreneurs in the F&B space, because they get to work in our kitchens. They see there's no secret. They have access to all our recipes. They work in our pastry shop and actually get a feel of how it is to run a business. Now with Lick, they get to also see how the entire ice cream business is going to be working, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just giving them techniques and showing them how to make a good croissant. It's like be part of the ecosystem of the business of selling croissant, which is what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Lavonne is super unique as an education space.
Yeah.
So is even like Kopitiam, and like ice cream has been around for the longest time. We just wanted to like try and make it really fun and celebrate that category. Kopitiam, I was shocked that there were no Malaysian restaurants at the level that we're doing it in
Yeah.
in India.
Yeah. No, you seem sort of, I think, very good at finding a good niche, in terms of, whether it's been Kopitiam or it's been like, how do you sort of balance what the market wants with what you want to personally create?
I feel like I am the market because I I really look at things and I'm like, why doesn't this exist? I want to eat great
Yeah.
Malaysian food,
Yeah.
It's first you're trying to solve this problem for yourself, and
Yeah.
then you ask your core group of people that you hang out all the time, and they're like,
Yeah.
why isn't there a Malaysian restaurant yet,
Correct.
So I think it's mostly like that. I think a lot of the things that we did was to like really think of it from like, do you really want this to be as part in your city? And then if that feeling keeps coming back, then you just try and make it happen.
Yeah. Fair enough. Talking about city, Bangalore seems like a place where everyone is very willing to stand for a long time in a long line for good food.
It's in Bombay also now.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but I feel like Bangalore is really food crazy. They're very happy to like support niche small food businesses and sort of see it grow. Is there something about Bangalore that you think makes it a fertile ground for food innovation?
I think the weather helps.
So everyone's in a good mood. Everyone wants to eat.
Everyone's in a good mood. You're standing out, you're waiting for food. You're still not like, oh, it's too cold, it's too hot. What am I doing? I'm not sweating. Like the weather's great. But also, I think Bangalore has evolved quite a lot. Like it's the city that I've been born and brought up in. I've seen how restaurants have even like I was recently at one of the conversations. I said even back in the day, we had restaurants that were trying pushing the envelope. Even like 15 years ago, like Abhijit Saha's Cape Berry,
Yeah.
doing molecular gastronomy. First one in India, I think. I might be wrong, but for us, it was like, wow, you're seeing what restaurants in Spain do in Bangalore.
Yeah.
So I think, and also like a lot of young people willing to try different things. And it's just a fun place. So it's easy for you to test out concepts. And I think most even tech businesses test their concepts here before they take it pan-India.
So from the outside, it seems like the Lavonne Group is almost like a hospitality lab where, everything from like talent to taste is sort of being constantly evolving. I'd love to know, like, what do you think the future of hospitality is in India? New age hospitality, at least.
I don't know if I've understood the question properly, but I'll say something now and then you see if this is making sense.
Okay. Where do you think we're going in terms of a direction with India's food scene?
I think India's food scene at the moment, I'm so glad that I'm a chef in the current sort of scenario, because there's great time to be a chef. People are going out multiple times a week to eat. the students are also very passionate about how they want to go out and do something different and unique. There's a lot of money for chefs to be able to go and set up their own businesses because people want to be part of the F&B business.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of international eyes on India, you know,
Yeah.
which is great. And the concepts that are there in India at the moment, I don't think anybody would thought of it like 10 years ago to see if it would work. The
Yeah.
NARS to the farm lords, it's so brave and amazing. And to
Mm-hmm.
see it like constantly packed, it's wild, you know. And that's a very promising direction for the Indian food scene, I think.
No, absolutely. For someone who's sort of been focused on sort of French patisserie for a while, I know that you've also talked about how you sort of feel this responsibility to champion Indian desserts, but sort of not reinvent them, but teach them in their original forms. Do you sort of find yourself thinking about ways to incorporate that?
So at the school, we do a 2-day workshop on Indian desserts. We have somebody who come and teach the students about it, but at the same time, it's one of those skills where, like, even when they do teach this, there's no real recipes to, teach how to make a
Yeah.
perfect rasgulla. It's a lot of like, okay, now it's the time to add this, and now it's the time to do that. Let's add a little bit more milk. Let's add a little bit more water. I had thought about it once because, like we were doing so much of like global desserts. I felt
Yeah.
like there's somewhere I want to, own my skills of the dessert culture that happens in India,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I use a lot of the technique to incorporate that into my desserts for certain classes that I do outside of India, because I still feel like there's so many things I want to show. When I travel and teach, I want to show them something new and different. And
Yeah.
that is mostly either it's the best Indian ingredients or used in like other things that I make, or it would
Yeah.
be a technique from, I did a gaver tart, so I've learned how to make a gaver and
Nice.
then try and put that over a tart, do like a cheesecake, raspberry, pistachio, all of that. So it's still dessert, but using
Yeah.
techniques from doing Indian desserts.
You've mentioned how hard it is to find like high quality local ingredients in the past when it comes to baking. Uh, and you just spoke about like how now you're getting very high quality ingredients. Can you talk to me about like that progress that you've seen from when you started to now, like just in terms of the kinds of artisanal products that are coming into the market?
I think, especially with desserts, there are a set of ingredients that you can definitely use, that makes sense with uh, creating a dessert, right? Or a big product. And a lot of it was to try and celebrate the best of what already exists in India, we know we have great peppercorns. So one of the cakes that I make is a telesheri pepper and dark chocolate cake. And it kind of makes sense because pepper and chocolate all grow in the similar climatic
Yeah.
conditions. And then when we put that together and made that chocolate, it was actually very nice. It's got that intense chocolate cake flavor, but at the end of it, you also get the little bit peppery notes.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to showcase the product, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
great story for even people who've not from India be able to learn about one of our ingredients, or the best cashew nuts, or the best saffron, or the best coffee, the best teas. Apart from that, I can see that, the whole bean to bar culture is really taken off. And brands like Sabko, Manam, who are like now crafting, their own chocolate. And year by year, it's getting even better because they're constantly working on making it unbelievably good. So it's
Yeah.
only upwards from here.
Absolutely. Okay. As someone who is sort of influencing the next generation of pastry chefs, would you have any advice for like younger chefs or younger entrepreneurs, something that you wish you knew back then when you were just starting out?
If you still want to be in the kitchen and be the pastry chef yourself, then it comes down to like a lot of practice. It's a skill that comes with you doing multiple times, because it's not that you do it in school and then you'll be like, try and make this up in your head or make a menu just by thinking about the components and say that, oh, this is going to be a good product. Maybe the cheesecake is more, and then you need to actually reduce it by 20 because you don't want so much cheese. You want a little bit more chocolate, just balancing that out and making those little edits. And the other thing I would tell everybody is to eat. You have to eat a lot to know, to develop your
100%.
palate,
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to know. And I eat a lot, it's not good. It's not good for me.
Guilty. I'm also guilty of that.
But you get so many ideas because you've eaten so much and you've eaten out a lot and you've gone to these great restaurants and when you try and make something new, it comes back to you from a subconscious
Everywhere.
level on how to put that product together. So that's one of the things that I tell everybody, like, eat a lot. Don't be the chef that doesn't taste. Don't be the chef that doesn't eat. And I know there are a lot of chefs who say taste, don't eat, but actually just keep eating. You're going to become a great chef. I'm sure you'll be a great chef because you eat a lot, right?
Yeah, sure. By that logic, but it takes some amount of skill as well. So
No,
I think my
you'll
skill is,
you'll eat something and you'll know exactly what is missing. You'll know exactly how can this be better. Yes or no?
perhaps I might know how I
You'll
might
be-
like it better. Maybe not how it can be better, but yeah, I'll take the compliment. It's fine. I could be a great chef.
Chef Smitha Menon. Oof.
Yeah, oof, too much. But
3 stars
okay, so
and the green one.
why not? Um, so it seems like there are two Vineshes. There's one Vinesh who is a pastry chef and is, super, super creative and intentional about like the cool creative stuff that he's doing at Lavonne and with the pastry school. And then there is Vinesh, the entrepreneur, who is sort of building very cool, very unique offerings for India. Is there a direction that you see yourself going in the future? Like, is Vinesh the entrepreneur going to go side by side with Vinesh the baker, or do you feel like you're going to explore one more than the other?
I mean, at the moment, it's Vinesh the entrepreneur right now because we've just like went with, for the last 13 years, we were one pastry school and 2 cafes. And then in the last 2 years, we were 2 pastry schools, 5 cafes, 1 Malaysian restaurant, and ice cream school and ice cream shop. So much has happened, and it's not given me the time to be in the kitchen. And sometimes, the other day we were making a cookie together, and I touched the cookie dough after so long. I was like, man, this is how cookie dough feels like, And it's not something that I'm proud of.
That cookie was so
That cookie was good.
good. It was so good.
It's my recipe, at least, at least that much is mine,
least that.
I would love to have more time in the kitchen and practice and be creative, because I think a lot of the ideas come when you're actually doing it, It's not that you're going to just sit in the room and say, I'm going to paint a masterpiece. You have to keep painting, and then maybe one will become a masterpiece, right?
Correct.
And it's just that I've not had time to do it, So now that Lick is opened, the next few weeks, I have one of my other friend who's coming down from Hong Kong tonight. In fact, in the next 3 weeks, is going to be here. So I want to get a lot of baking and get back into the zone, bring the form back and like do some really fun stuff. And most of my desserts are anyway, it's also gone through this entire transition. There was a time that I want to make really pretty desserts. I want to glaze all the cakes and put like really tiny decor on it and keep it minimalistic, to like now making like super rustic, textural. You want to break into it, have something coming out. And, like it keeps going through its journey as even the product keeps changing to things that I enjoy making. So I'm excited about all the new desserts I want to make. I have a bunch of ideas, so let's see.
Amazing. And is there anything more that we can expect from Vinesh the entrepreneur in the next few years
Nothing.
or months? Yay.
I don't know. There's
I'm
a
sure
lot
there's
to do.
one little bug in your head that's like
There's so many,
making
man.
its way.
But We've not certain about anything new, but of course, I think Kopitiam and Lick will do a few more of it for sure.
Amazing. I'm hoping that it's coming to Bombay.
Which one first, Kopi or Lick?
Both.
You have to choose.
Why should you have to choose? Do like side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah.
What about Lavonne, man? Left
Of course,
the...
Lavonne also means you can do like side by side by side. I'm always curious about like how does being a parent sort of impact how you sort of look at your business, because like running a food business is so like all intensive, right? Like you put your heart and soul and like blood and sweat and everything into it. It's like physically, mentally, emotionally intensive.
Yeah.
And then like when you have a kid, it's exactly the same thing and at home. And this is something that I've been speaking to a few like chefs and restaurateurs about, is that how does like being a parent kind of impact what you do in your everyday business?
I mean, I want to say that we've been very lucky that the first 2 years of when Zev was born, it was COVID. So there's not much to do. So we were able to hang out with him quite a bit. And then very soon he started going to school. So a big chunk of his day is at this place called Papagoya, and he's having a great time with his friends. And he's friends with all the friends that I anyway hang out with. Awesome. And then when he comes back, he then now gets to hang out in an ice cream shop. So he's actually having the greatest time, greatest time in life.
Best childhood ever.
And also the team is like super sweet. So either he's hanging out with Judy in the cake studio, or he's at Kopitiam eating kaya toast, and the team knows him really well. So he, or he hangs out with his grandma. So I think for us it's been quite easy, but I'm sure it is quite challenging if you're like in the kitchen 24/7, making sure that when you're in the F&B business, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to like, you'll have to carve time out to like hang out with your kids.
Mm-hmm. And have you found that like maybe becoming a parent has sort of changed your, the way you look at entrepreneurship or the way you look at leadership in any way?
I want to say yes, but I won't be able to really say how, but it definitely is different. Like, the decisions are a lot more thought through now. It's I mean, it was a different level of like making things happen before, and now it's a little bit more, I don't know, I think everything is a little bit more settled and a little bit more certain, and we're going to give it a give it its time. There's no like unnecessary stress because something has not happened or something went wrong, and we're not going to overreact to anything. Tomorrow Zev breaks something in the house also, I have no reaction. I'm like, oh, that broke? Okay, let's get it fixed. And it's sort of like,
there are some things that
there's something that happened.
Control.
Like Kopitiam, we had taken a place and we were very sure that we're going to open there. So we got George to design the restaurant already. We had finished 3 months in time because there was something going on there. And then just the day we started constructing, we had to like stop construction because the neighbor had a problem with the restaurant coming there, and we had no idea.
Yikes.
And this was one of the projects where, I said, Avengers and all have come and we're going to do it, which means we'll have zero issues in executing, and we'll execute it at the timeline that we want to execute it, because everyone is putting the 100%. And still something will happen, which is out of your control. Yeah. So what things will happen at what time? Did you see that one on Instagram?
Yeah, of course.
It'll happen when it has to happen.
Yeah.
So stop stressing about things that is out of your control.
Nice. Very good answer. This is like a Miss World answer. Okay.
Game time.
So we're done with the interview part of the podcast. we are going to play a little bit of a game. Not too many people know that apart from pastry, you also love music. And you were in a band in college. What was it called?
It was called the Quaver. How did
Something
you
in
find out
harmony.
about this?
You
Oh,
wouldn't
I
know.
told you. Correct. Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to find different ways to not be in class. And luckily, again, I had a great team of singers who decided to, let me hang out with them. And it was a really successful band. We were performing across different, competitions and stuff like that. And we kept winning every competition. And then the college gave us a certificate saying that this is a certificate to say that you won the most number of competitions. So it was pretty
Wow.
cool.
So it was a certificate of
Certificate of certificates.
certificates. I'm going to give you the names of some songs, and you have to come up with desserts inspired by that song.
Okay.
Yeah, these can be desserts from Lavonne, like Kopi, or even just random dessert.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, let's try.
are you ready?
I am not, but let's try.
Okay. Your first song is Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley.
I think Soul Cookie.
Okay, why?
It feels very soulful, the song. No? Don't you think so?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that's a good one. Your next song is Yellow by Coldplay.
It's the chocolate flute. It's not a dessert, but you know that our second edition of the flute thing was about... We played Yellow. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Part 2 of the chocolate flute was Yellow. And unfortunately, Coldplay hasn't seen it. And I tried showing them. Every month, I'll send the video again to Coldplay. I'm kidding. You send it.
Coldplay, if you're watching this,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Okay. Your next song is Big Dogs by Hanuman Kind.
Ooh. Big Dogs by Hanuman Kind. A dessert dedicated to that song. Signature chocolate cake.
Okay, why?
I don't know. I think the song feels like it's about getting stuff done, and this chocolate cake has just been around from the beginning. So it's just a reminder of that.
Nice. Okay. Next song is Bye 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 by NSYNC.
That there's so many desserts that I can. It was a dessert that I had once tried making with chocolate and chicken liver, and
Yikes.
yeah, it was quite gross. I don't know why I thought it would work. It was also when I was very young and inspired by Chef's Table and all. So straight away it does bit. Bye bye bye.
Thank you, Vinesh. This has been so much fun. I've had a great time chatting with you, and I'm hoping that you have as well.
Of course.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me over the podcast again. It was really fun, and again, it's been great for. Okay, I have nothing much to say. Thank you, Manik, and thank you, people behind the scene.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to show us some love. Hit like, drop a comment, and scribble it in chutney. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever food memories live. And tell us, which dish from your childhood lives rent-free in your head?